Members, a quorum is not present. The roll has been called and a quorum has not been established.
What you just saw is the moment when Republicans in Texas got the showdown they were asking for. To recap, ever since Governor Greg Abbott of Texas announced that he was adding redistricting to the agenda for the special legislative session, instead of focusing on relief for thousands of victims of the devastating Texas floods, Democrats have been calling out a scheme for what it is, a blatant political power grab. It's especially shameful after we learned that Abbott only added redistricting after Trump called him up and told him to create up to 5 new Republican seats. They say everything is bigger in Texas, but this fight is bigger than Texas. And that's why Democrats aren't backing down. We're using every tool available to prevent Trump and Abbott from rigging the map. I'm Hannah Moldavan, Deputy Communications Director for the Democrats, and your host for today. It's Tuesday, August 5th, and this is the Democrats' Daily Blueprint. Over the weekend, members of the Texas House Democratic Caucus broke quorum and brought the special legislative session to a grinding halt. That's the clip that you saw at the beginning of the show, the moment that Republicans fucked around and found out. But it's not just Democrats in Texas going on offense and fighting fire with fire. It's that Democrats around the country are united in calling out this scheme and supporting our colleagues in the Lone Star State. Here's Governor Kathy Hochul of New York.
They'd rather silence voters than serve them. From my perspective, to refuse to stand up and fight for our democracy as we are joining in solidarity with our friends from Texas means one thing. You won't fight for democracy, you're doomed to lose it.
And here's Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker.
In the coming days and weeks, Illinois will partner with the Texas House Democratic Caucus to put a spotlight on the danger that Trump and Texas Republicans pose to all Americans. To be in public office right now is to constantly ask yourself, how do I make sure that we're standing on the right side of history? Yes. There's a simple answer. The wrong side of history will always tell you to be afraid. Right. The right side of history will always expect you to be courageous. Right. Expect courage from people around you, and it will show up. Expect fear, and fear will rule the day. Let the courage of these leaders be an example to the rest of the country.
And here's House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries.
But you will see governors and state legislatures and, of course, members of the House Democratic Caucus respond in kind. There is no unilateral disarmament. When we're in the middle of an all-out assault by Donald Trump and Republican sycophants on the economy, on health care, on our way of life, on law-abiding immigrant communities, on democracy itself.
But we're not just talking the talk. We're walking the walk and calling for reinforcements. Through our grassroots army of volunteers at the DNC, 30,000 strong and growing, the DNC is reaching out to Texas voters and letting them know who's behind the effort to hijack the 2026 electoral map. To date, we've sent more than 250,000 texts and will continue to marshal support to fight back. Look, Texas Republicans are scared. They saw the writing on the wall after voting for the most unpopular bill in modern history. That's Trump's budget bill that strips healthcare from nearly 1.7 million Texans so that billionaires can get another tax break for their private jets. Now, Trump is leaning on Texas Republicans to try to squeeze 5 more Republican seats out of Texas so the GOP can cling to its slim congressional majority. Now, as a reminder, this is racial gerrymandering. Their new map rips away the voting power from voters of color. And finally, after going through the process of introducing an unpopular new map and hearing thousands and thousands of Texas voters tell them that it sucks, including this Texan voter.
We're here because Texas is the first state under assault. If Texas House Republicans bow down to Trump like Abbott did, the other red states will follow. And if they do that, then America will be under assault. To me, House Republicans, in this case, are like a bunch of buzzards on the fence, waiting to swoop down on a dying carcass of democracy and feed on that. America is a democratic republic, and it's being dismantled daily by Donald Trump.
And now Republicans are just fully lying to cover it all up. That's right. Now, as Democrats try every tool available to oppose this partisan gerrymander, Greg Abbott has the audacity to blame Democrats for holding up relief for flood victims. Look in the mirror. Look at your own failing record. Every second of every day over the past month since the devastating floods, you, Governor Abbott, have the unilateral legal authority to deliver immediate disaster relief to individuals and families. All it takes is one stroke of your pen, and you can leverage almost every cent in the state of Texas's bank account. But you haven't. Instead, Governor Abbott, you've bent the knee to Donald Trump to pursue this scam. In the past month, Texas Republicans held 1 hearing on the floods in Kerr County and 8 hearings on the redistricting map. Governor Abbott needs to get his priorities straight. The only reason we're in this mess is because he refused to deliver disaster relief and instead hijacked the legislative agenda to advance a partisan gerrymander. And now he's trying to double down. Please. Republicans aren't even hiding it at this point. Here's Texas State Representative Brian Harrison admitting that they're pulling out all these stops just so they can cling to power.
I am doing everything I can in my power as an elected member of the state of Texas to make sure that the state of Texas does everything in its power to make sure that Republicans hold on to a majority in the United States Congress.
He's 100% right, by the way. All of this is happening because Republicans know they can't win on their record, so they have to change the rules of the game to win. And now Governor Abbott is throwing a temper tantrum and threatening to impose fines, arrest legislators, and remove those who broke quorum. But Governor Abbott doesn't have the power to do this, which is why Democratic State Representative John Busey III isn't concerned about Abbott's threats.
Now, to be clear, you're not concerned that the governor will expel you from your seat?
Not at all. The people of House District 136 sent me there. I have a constitutional right to stand up for them, and I'm serving them right now by being here fighting for their democracy. And they've made their voices loud and clear. They have my back.
State Representative Jolanda Jones also makes the excellent point that Abbott can't arrest people in other states.
I'm a lawyer. A part of my practice is criminal defense work. There is no felony in the Texas Penal Code for what he says. So respectfully, he's making up some shit. Okay? He's trying to get sound bites, and he has no legal mechanism. And if he did, subpoenas from Texas don't work in New York. So he gonna come get us how? Subpoenas in Texas don't work in Chicago. He's gonna come get us how? So let me be clear. He's putting up smoke and mirrors. And I'm hopeful that the media doesn't follow that.
I love that so much. So here's the deal. We're going to continue bringing you the news from the Texas special legislative session all throughout this week. And if you're looking for things to do, join a phone bank hosted by the DNC to contact Texas voters and let them know the truth about what the heck is going on in Texas. And if you're not busy in the next 38 minutes, you can catch the press conference that DNC Chair Ken Martin is hosting shoulder to shoulder with Texas Democrats in Illinois to explain what's going on. It will be streaming live on YouTube on JB Pritzker's YouTube page starting at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Thank you for joining us today for this episode of The Daily Blueprint. We'll be here right with you every day during the week at 10 a.m. Eastern on the DNC's YouTube page. Until tomorrow.